This is an open letter to the Universal House of Justice. Today, Sunday, at 11:30 in the night. To the Holy Court of the Universal House of Justice and honorable valued members. Nearly a quarter century passed from 1996, the time that I invited you to consider the solution I found in holy texts to amend and repair the existing face of the Baha'i administration. The investigation went wrong, not by investigators, but because a broken mechanism is in place. Many sincere Baha'is have fallen victim to similar process. There are many instances that can testify to this fact. The concerned parties involved have expressed disappointment and in extreme cases hatred towards the Baha'i officials. I wholeheartedly acknowledge that you have sacrificed your personal life to serve as the elected representative. No one knows better than me how difficult can it become to work with your Baha'i friend as a colleague. Baha'i text confirms the purpose of the revelation of God is to educate mankind spiritually, to be able to become independent over their spiritual destiny. As such, what better way for this divine educator to give us spiritual responsibilities to conduct our affairs. In the pathway to the spiritual growth, mistakes and misgivings should be taken as a privilege to exercise our talents by finding the solutions. Accordance of the science and logic is the guiding principles of the divine revealer of this new faith of God. Hands of the cause of God were given the task of protection of the cause of God. Their effort resulted in formation of the Universal House of Justice to fulfill their responsibility to protect the cause of God from division and divisive ideas. Today, however, we know, as effective as this measure was for that time, nonetheless, it's only a temporary solution to prevent the divisions. Every man of insight that is familiar with the Baha'i activity can observe this temporary solution has shown some serious side effects that has brought the progress of the cause of God to a stagnation and halt. The most prominent Baha'is, such as Mr. David Rossetti, have confessed to me that he cannot grasp the idea of the infallibility of the Universal House of Justice. Many have been barred from entering the faith of Baha'u'llah because of the lack of the participation of women at international level. If any responsible Baha'i study the faith, could easily find the root cause of these problems lies in the fact that the present Universal House of Justice is not constructed according to the clear text and recommendations of the founder of the cause of God. The 10-year plan of the Shoghi Effendi in 1953, 4 years prior to his passing, clearly asks for formation of an international Baha'i court as a prelude to formation of the Universal House of Justice. Although the process could not be followed at that time, it does not mean it was not necessary and should be abandoned. The fact that the institution of guardianship is not the component of the Universal House of Justice has fatal consequences and cannot be overlooked. Shoghi Effendi says, without such an institution, the integrity of the faith would be imperiled, and the stability of the entire fabric would be gravely endangered. Its prestige would suffer. The means required to enable it to take a long and uninterrupted view over a series of generations would be completely lacking, and the necessary guidance to define the sphere of the legislative action of its elected representatives would be totally withdrawn. he orders specifically a building to be erected for the institution of guardianship, and a Persian book called Toghiyat-e Mubarakeh, printed in 1992 in Germany at Baha'i Verlag. This book is the compilation of the Persian messages of Shoghi Effendi, dating from 88 to 113 of the Baha'i calendar, in which he says the following in the page 562. At the precinct of these two lofty buildings, Baha'i Archive and the seat of Universal House of Justice, and these two mighty pillars, another building, which is the House of Guardianship, Darul-Vilayah, and the center of the interpretation, explanations, and commentary of the Holy Text, in confirmation and complementation to the legislative arm, gradually shall be erected. Some scholars maintained that this building was designated to be the House of Future Guardians, which was not materialized, and therefore in absence of guardians, this building is functionless. Such answer is quite incorrect, because Shoghi Effendi, the guardian, and his appointed one, if he had any, they would be the irreplaceable chief and lifelong member of the Universal House of Justice, and not the member of the institution of guardianship. Lack of the institution of the International Baha'i Court prior, and the institution of guardianship subsequent to the Universal House of Justice, have derailed the Baha'i administration from its pathway. This handicapped state has been the reason of Universal House of Justice not to be able even to publish the Kitab Aqdas properly with typing mistakes, and translating the Tablet of Wisdom of Baha'u'llah in the wrong way. In addition, the statement of the Universal House of Justice about the number of the remaining elders to be 4 and not 5, as Shoghi Effendi stated, is nothing but unlawful interpretation and utter perversions of the word of Shoghi Effendi. These are but few sample of many others. This derailment from the pathway of the truth had been prophesied by His Holiness the Bab in the book of Arabic Bayan. He states for the period of 8 units of Bayan, that is 8 times 19 equal to 152 years, from 1844, which brings it to 1996, the believers are on the right path. And after passing of the 1996, they will be veiled by ignorance. This is the year I was rejected by Universal House of Justice. The true friend was pictured as enemy. My friends, by grace of God, I hear the objections and murmuring voices of your concern, which I have to categorize it in the following 4 groups. 1. Why should formation of another institution, namely the Universal House of Guardianship, help the cause of God? It would serve nothing but an extension of bureaucracy. Number 2. Who can guarantee the private life and the business of Mr. Timuri, in case of recognition, would not become a liability for the cause of God? Number 3. What if Mr. Timuri at one point decides to go against the faith? After all, he is not infallible. Number 4. What if taking such steps creates more dissident among the Baha'is? Who knows if the Baha'is are ready for such changes? If these are the legitimate questions and remarks, then it would be appropriate to call for a joint meeting to tackle the issue to your satisfaction. I, with utmost humility, call upon you to arrange a meeting in the presence of the Universal House of Justice to remedy and answer these questions and concerns. Many Baha'is are looking forward for this. Thank you very much.